Trucker here. Welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoy it.
Hey, good Boston Trucker here. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
What's your name, sir?
Bruce Gilmore.
Bruce Gilmore. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Same here.
I've seen this truck at a ton of truck shows, but I didn't know the story behind it and behind you. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself first?
I'm a retired trucker, ran 40 years over the road, mostly for private fleets.
Okay.
I bought this in the late 90s thinking I'd be an owner-operator, but thank God I didn't.
Yeah.
But anyways, and so I've had it 25 years. The trailer was my dad's, on my dad's farm as a storage unit, and I've had that 25 years. So I've just been tinkering on them over the years.
And what are some of the private fleets you worked for?
The biggest part of it was for Sweeteners Plus in Lakeville, New York.
Yeah.
We were tanker, food grade tanker.
Them. Yeah.
Sweeteners mostly.
Yeah, Blue Kenworth.
Yes, Blue Kenworth, and great job. Until the owner kind of moved along, and so did the good job.
Oh yeah, you know, good trucking jobs don't last, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Not the good ones.
But that was the bulk of my career, almost 25 years.
So then you bought this truck thinking maybe you're going to work it?
Yeah, I found it at a used car dealer in Palmer, Mass. Back in the 90s. I was looking for a K100, but when I saw how little corrosion this truck had, I said that's the one, and I wanted a double bunk. So,
can you give me a tour?
Yes.
So this is a power liner, correct?
Yes.
What does that mean exactly? What's the difference?
They were built from 1973 to 76. No, to 78 rather.
Okay.
And they had the big horsepower, so they had the big radiators.
To get more air.
And so they could run the big 600 motors, and you can see how gigantic that thing is, and it's
massive.
It's 8 inches deep, so cooling isn't a problem. It was built for hauling through the Rocky Mountains.
Okay.
So Coors beer had
Coors beer. I noticed the Little Audreys.
Yes, I drove for them in 1976.
Oh, really?
Getting my feet wet in trucking, I was able to get on as a team driver and drove for a year. Got my experience real quick.
That's legendary.
Yes.
And so you worked out of you hauling meat for them?
Boxed meat.
Boxed meat,
no swinging.
Okay.
But backed meat and then produce back.
Okay. That's real trucking.
Yeah. We were all teams. So
teams. That's hard.
Yep.
Were you able to sleep at all?
Oh yeah. We were doing a 500-mile turn. So every 10 hours we'd switch off. 10-12 hours switch off. Keep going.
So you really got to be able to trust the driver.
But we were in a single bunk 352.
Wow.
So luckily we were both young guys and got along okay. So
I mean, there was no frills back then, right? It was just trucking.
Right.
That was how it was. There was nothing to complain about. That was it.
Yep. That's where I came from. So that's why I had to restore it all, go back to my youth, and that's got the early Thermo King on it. It was the Mercedes diesel in it.
Oh, nice. I see that decorated grill up in front there. That's pretty cool.
Off a screen door at the house.
Did you put that on, or was it there?
Yeah, I put it on, but it just kind of reminiscent of the day.
Underneath it, you get that.
3408, 450 horse.
Wow.
Twin sticks, 5 and 4.
Yeah.
On factory air ride and 390 gear ratio.
Factory air ride. 390s.
Came with 1020s. I got 24.5 on it now, but.
And we get this nice stack package up the back here.
And it was.
Ooh.
She's double overdrive, so she'll get up with 390 rears. You know, 75, 80 if you want.
Wow. Can we check out the interior? We check out the interior? Can I climb on this side and you go on the other side?
Sure.
All right. I'm gonna go on up.
And you know how to do this.
I can take that one.
Okay.
You don't have to move too much. That's fine. Thank you so much.
This is my promotional material for selling this thing.
Oh, this is cool. Wow.
Yeah, she was had a rough life before I got it. It was, from what I understand, it was hauling sod down in Florida. It got repainted in the early 80s, and the guy bought it out of a Tampa truck dealership there, and he ran it for several years. Then it ended up coming up north here, hauling container a little bit, but didn't run much after the 90s.
You ever sleep in it?
I have, but it's a tight. I
Yeah.
put the rear window just for ventilation.
Everybody wants a cab over, but they don't really know what it means
Yeah,
to
crawling
live in a
through
cab
here and
over.
Watch your head on this.
Yeah.
'Cause,
So-
that's actually it was a plastic piece originally, and it
Yeah.
was all broken to hell. So I made an aluminum one.
This
and I'd
is
like
the
to
old
get
school
it
70s
carpeted. I'd like to
dashboard.
get it
This is really cool.
upholstered.
What do you got for transmission?
The 5-main and the 4-speed auxiliary, Spicer,
Yeah.
typical Spicer.
Is that what you grew up on? Is that what you grew up on when you were driving?
No, I'd driven a couple of Macs with twin sticks, but I never, till I got this, I figured it out. I've been driving
Yeah.
40 years, so it doesn't take long to
It's
figure
not
it
that
out.
hard once you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's great. I always wonder what this truck looked like inside.
Yeah.
Super
it was,
nice.
Originally, it was white with a army green kind of frame.
Yeah.
I guess you'd call drab green frame. And then it must have had a blue stripe somewhere because
Mm-hmm.
it tied in with the blue, but I don't know what it looked like originally.
It's air conditioning
Yeah.
and the vent windows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does have factory air, but I don't have it hooked up.
Okay.
It's behind your seat there. There's 2 heaters actually.
Oh,
One
yeah?
behind you, one behind me. Those cold.
And you go all over to truck shows with this?
I've been to the close ones. I went
Okay.
to York,
Yeah.
and that's the longest trip I've ever driven.
Okay.
It.
Where are you located?
Charlton,
Oh,
Massachusetts.
you're not that far.
Yeah.
Very interesting. How's this? Can you start this thing for me?
Oh, sure.
You need to warn the wife first?
No.
Okay.
I don't.
I don't want to scare her anybody.
Now, normally these have the preheater,
Yeah.
so usually you sit on the glow
Right.
plugs for it. But she's warm enough. She'll.
Oh yeah. Nice and smooth. It's not even that loud.
Yeah, and straight pipes too. It's.
Yeah. How is it going down the road?
It runs along nice.
Yeah.
I had trouble with the power. It's got Garrison hydraulic assist
Okay.
steering, and that was a real problem. It was worn out, and I ended up spending a lot of money to get that straightened
Yeah.
out, and it drives very well.
So, most people don't know what it's like to drive a cab over these days. The older drivers.
Yeah.
What's it like to drive a cab over these days with today's drivers?
You adapt to whatever you're in, pretty
Yeah.
much. But yeah, I grew up driving cab overs, mostly TransStar Internationals.
Mm-hmm.
I worked for Apple Packer out of Air Mass and running the coast, up
Yeah.
and down the coast with apples and produce, and that was a big part of my start
Yeah.
and my journey. And after Little Audrey's, and then went to the private fleets for the rest of my career. 40 years, 4 million.
That's nothing to sneeze about. It's
No.
something you're very proud of.
Yeah,
Good
I
for
am,
you.
because I got a clean record, believe it or
Wow,
not.
I believe it.
I dodged a bunch of
You
bullets.
seem like a real professional guy. Yeah, did you
No.
do some outlaw trucking back in the day too?
Yeah, well, when I was young, we were running up and down the East Coast, and I got hooked up with some of those North Carolina
Yeah.
boys.
Those
And
chicken haulers down there?
Yeah, anything goes.
Yeah.
And run her overnight and get the load delivered.
Florida to Boston in one day.
Yeah,
Pretty much, yeah.
and
You look back now and go, for what? Why did I do that?
yeah.
You know? For the
Yeah,
glory of it, I
I
guess.
remember this guy, I was dead tired. You just want to lay down for 20
Yeah.
minutes. And the guy said, "You can sleep when you're dead. Get out there and
Aw.
get trucking."
Great advice, guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, where's that guy now? He's probably dead.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, the outlaw days.
Yeah.
Creative logging.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they were good days. you know?
Yes. Yeah.
You worked hard.
Yeah. And they just kind of, not everybody was letting you go.
Yeah.
Connecticut was legendary for busting balls, and then down in Virginia, of course,
Sure.
the scales.
And the speed limits back then.
Yeah.
Virginia, Ohio.
Yes.
There was no mercy.
Nope, but I remember some of these North Carolina produce haulers, they had some big trucks, the KTs
Yep.
and such, and overnight, when they were making time, 80, 90
Yeah.
up the Jersey Turnpike at that, I dropped back. I said, my truck would only run like 75, and they just grab another
the
gear.
pills they were taking went 80 and 90 miles an hour too, you know?
Yes.
Some of them. you
Yeah,
know?
and they just pay the tickets.
Yeah.
And they get buzzed, they get popped, they just pay the ticket. wouldn't go on your
Yeah.
license and all that.
You got any good outlaw Montfort stories?
No,
Just
no.
kidding, yeah.
I did do some West Coast there at the beginning, but
Yeah.
then mostly stayed in regional
Sure.
for most of my career. But still laid the miles
What's
down.
the key to having such a longevity and a safe career when you're driving behind the wheel?
Enjoying what my thing. I love trucks,
Mm-hmm.
and that was always my inspiration because I love big trucks. And hey, a young guy driving a fancy truck,
Mhm.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree.
And checking out the seat covers and see you later.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And you remember some of the old truck stops back in the day?
Yeah, going down the East Coast.
Got any old flip favorites?
Oh man, there was a bunch of them in Virginia there. Speed and Briscoe and
Speedco.
Speed. Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't it?
It was Speed and Briscoe
Okay.
originally, and then I don't know what it's become, but happened to run into Willie Nelson one night.
Really?
At like midnight. Went in for coffee and stuff, heading south, and he was in there in his tour bus, and
No way.
he said hello, and I said, "Hey, how you doing, Willie?" And so that was
Wow.
that was
That's a
one of
great
my
memory,
big,
yeah.
my big stories right there.
You remember White's truck stop back in the day?
Yes.
Yeah, White's and
we
Ken-
mostly ran 95, so I
Yeah,
was.
so Kenley with the big bear,
Yes.
with the big giant bear, grizzly bear.
Yep.
Yep.
Kenley, North
Now it's an
Carolina.
Iowa
That
80,
was a
I
good
think.
one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those were good
And
days.
the 76s on down through. They
Yeah.
were pretty good.
The Mayflower.
G&M and.
Yeah.
But you get to the Florida line and it's 10 o'clock at night. You still got a few hours ahead of you.
That's a long ride. When
Delivery
you hit that
Pompano.
Florida line, oh my God.
We got to deliver Pompano at 6 a.m. So
Jeez.
get a couple hours. You get in there
Yeah.
and get a couple. And I'd lump my load one end
Oh,
or the
really?
other to pay my food expenses. But otherwise, the boss would give me money, lumping money. $100
That's
usually
a tough
to pull
ride,
the floor.
running produce out of Florida.
Yeah, everything's on
yeah,
the floor.
Yeah, I did it as well in my early years, but yeah, it's tough. It's
Yeah.
tough when they want you up in Market Basket the next day.
Yes,
You know,
we
you-
did a lot of Demoulas. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was in Tewksbury.
You
That was a
went
good
on,
one. They treated us really well because we serviced them.
Yeah. Yeah, it was rough. I used to do a lot of produce out of Florida going to Minnesota up to Super Value a lot.
Oh wow!
It's kind of the same run, but right
Yeah,
up the middle. Yeah, it's
yeah.
tough.
Yeah,
Like 30 hours, you know?
yeah,
Go.
yeah.
But that's what was done. And if you
Yeah.
couldn't do it, you were kind of blackballed. You'd get the lousy runs, or you'd be sitting a lot.
Yeah.
So you learned. You
Yeah.
ran. You either ran or you didn't
Yeah,
run.
If
You know.
if you don't have what it takes,
Yep.
see ya. You know, I mean.
That's it.
But I was making decent money. I was on percentage at the beginning. I could on a Florida turn 6-day turn. I was grossing $700-800,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought that was pretty good for a young
Yeah.
young guy. And I lumped the load to pay my food, and it was pretty much clear. I
Right.
thought that was.
Explain to somebody who might be watching this video. Lump the load. What does that mean? Lump the load.
Everything's on the floor. You got to get to your customer, stack it on the pallets
Yep.
in a block they want.
Any way they
and-
want it.
Yep.
Small
and they
wood.
give you a hand jack and
Yep.
yank them off and line them up so they can inspect everything.
What about when they tell you to put it on small wood?
Yeah.
That was so annoying.
the worst one ever.
Yeah.
Campbell's soup load out of
Napoleon,
New
Ohio.
Jersey.
Oh,
No,
out of Jersey.
Jersey.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
mixed cases of this, that. They slip sheet it on, and now you got to lump it off and figuring out. Oh, now we're into the baby food or it's something
Yeah.
else. You know, we're trying to stack it on the pallet.
You're reminding me of the things I didn't like about trucking in the early years. Yeah.
And usually you're dead tired. You
Yeah.
just come in off of running all night.
And now you lump the load. You're dirty, filthy, tired. And what's the reward? Oh, I got to go make a pickup, and it'd be somewhere 800 miles the next day.
Yeah, just
Yeah, it's an unending
Yeah.
cycle
yeah.
that we love
Yeah,
for some reason.
We did.
Yeah, that's cool.
But my inspiration was the big trucks, and I just always loved
What was the
them.
favorite truck you've driven in your career?
The company I was working for out of Air Mass, they had Transtars. He had two brand new Eagles,
Oh wow.
78 Eagles. One with they both had the 430 Detroits in them, but
That's big power.
90 silver 92s.
A lot of horsepower. Yeah.
Yeah, and Fruhoff reefers. We had Do you remember the Space Light reefer that
No,
Fruhoff had? It was a
no.
fiberglass FRP,
Okay.
and they lasted about 2 or 3 years. 'Cause
Yeah.
the side rails kept busting up, and they had this add-on package to it. It just went out. But
Yeah.
to see a Space Light reefer these days is
Wow.
about impossible.
Now, when you were trucking, did you run a CB radio?
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, they weren't that prevalent in the early 70s, right? It was a little later.
I was in there in '76 on,
Okay.
so it was kind
It was
of
a
the
big thing when
rage.
it was coming out.
Oh
Did
yeah.
you have a CB handle?
Yeah, I was Massachusetts Minuteman for a little
Nice.
bit, and then my name's Bruce, so I just went to Caboose. 'Cause
Caboose?
I never
I like it.
led. I was always hanging back and let them
Yeah.
get busted.
That's
I'm
smart.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
yeah,
That's really cool.
yeah.
Well, you got out at the right time. What made you retire?
E-logs.
You look. I love it. You are a man of my heart.
Yeah, I was working for it was another private fleet. All your expenses are paid. You're making a good rate, but when they put the E-log on I had a Cascadia
Mhm.
walk in and
Yeah.
all the good stuff, but running Wisconsin
Okay.
regularly, and they put the E-logs on, and didn't the first day they pulled me in the scale house up by
Yeah.
Milwaukee, and I'm still running a paper log. I got the E-log up
Right.
there because we were in the switchover.
Yeah.
And so I give him my paper log, and he scrutinized that for
Really?
an hour, and he
Oh.
found me off 15 minutes on the New York Thruway. He said, he went back and forth. He found 15 minutes I couldn't justify on the New
No
York
way.
Thruway.
And that was it, huh?
Yeah, I said, come on, and he said, just a warning, don't freak
And that
out.
was enough to put a bad taste in your mouth and
Yeah.
say, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about automatics now. I'm like, what do you think about that? The new-
Sweeteners started dabbling in automatics
Yeah.
in the Freightliners, and I never liked them.
Yeah.
Just not enough control over.
Yeah.
But today, back then, any of these old vehicles, you got to drive them. You pay attention. You know what? I got to know,
Yeah.
remember what gear I'm
Yeah,
in to know
yeah.
where I'm going, and you got to pay attention.
Yeah,
Today
absolutely.
it's lay back and let
everybody get ahead of you
Yeah.
and just kind of back and watch like a
That's
video game.
But in traffic's heavier than it used to be.
Oh yeah.
And the driving skills aren't what they used to be. I mean, the system works if you pass, get back in the left,
Mm-hmm.
I mean the right-hand lane.
Stay on
let
the
'em
right,
pass
accept
in
the
left.
pass.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the system would work, but it doesn't anymore.
There's too many. I notice there's too many truckers running the left lane,
I
and
see
the
'em
cars
jump-
are getting jammed up behind them, and they cut you off in the right lane who's doing the right thing
Yeah,
because they're mad,
yeah,
and now you get cut off. They go by the truck on the right, cut the truck driver off because they're mad,
Oh, and
and the
stab
truck
the
driver just
brake.
keeps driving in the left lane like no
Yeah.
clue. Drives me crazy.
yeah.
Can you show me your trailer and?
Oh, sure.
All right.
So this
I like these old spinners. I
Yeah.
used to run those. Those are pretty cool.
Yeah.
You can't find those anymore.
Yeah. I collected junk over the years and just boxed it up and selling some of it.
You got some Overdrive magazines.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the old Overdrive one. They used to put the girl on the cover.
Yeah. I
Owner operator mag.
subscribed all through the 80s.
So what do you have? For sale, vintage magazine, 970. Oh, it's a good price.
Yeah.
That's a good price. Wow, this is great. I was telling you earlier, I said I have that one somewhere. That's really cool.
Yeah.
He's got a catalog there. There's some. He's got complete years on some.
Do you remember the American Trucker magazine?
Yeah, vaguely.
That was in the 80s mostly.
Okay.
Yeah, that was that's what I collected. I still have a big collection of American Trucker,
Ah.
like 80 to like 89. Started getting too many ads towards the 89s, then it went out.
Yeah.
Well, this is great. Trucker, I have Truckers USA. I'm gonna thumb through these when I put my camera
Yeah,
down.
sure.
I'm gonna grab, get a call.
Yeah, this is 74 American, which
74
I
American,
can't-
okay.
They were big. In fact, there's a lot of ads in the old Overdrives.
Oh yeah?
Making reefers, center the hopper bottoms, and tankers.
What is it, a 45?
It's a 42,
42.
13 high.
13, oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's for wet loads. It's got the ribbed floor and the.
Yeah, yeah. I like the step here. Oh yeah, nice.
Yep.
Very cool. And so you guys do a lot of antique truck shows?
I've been, anything locally. I do
Yeah.
Bolton Fairground,
Yeah.
Bolton, Connecticut, and Bolton, Mass, and Brooklyn, Connecticut.
Okay.
So keep them local. She likes fuel, so I don't.
Yeah. Your truck, not your wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool. Hey, it was so nice to talk to you.
Yeah.
And is that so you can go to California?
No, I bought that for $100. It matches my one on the roof.
Oh,
I
that's
said,
right.
I'm gonna throw it on. I saw a guy in Wisconsin.
Interesting. Yeah.
He was taking roof deflectors off old cab
Yeah.
overs and slapping them up
Very
underneath.
interesting.
I said that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Huh.
Instead of the skirts and the
Yeah.
wings and all that.
We'll take a look at the back of this.
I pulled the suspension, all new brakes, drums and shoes and seals and stuff.
You do the work yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So you're a handy guy.
Well, I'm a backyard mechanic, so
Yeah.
don't look too close.
Well, hey, it was a pleasure meeting you
Yeah,
and
same
talking with
here,
you.
Mike.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
I'll be looking for my.
You will be out there. Absolutely. You're going to
Thank
be world YouTube famous, which means nothing really.
Yeah.
we'll keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
But thank you so much. It was a pleasure to meet you. I've always wanted to meet you. I never knew who the
Me
owner of this
too.
truck was.
Me too.
So I'm glad I came over.
Yeah.
So, all right. Thank
I
you.
recognized you immediately. So.
Awesome.